live button. We're fucking...
Alright.
Okay, it says
Alright,
it's going.
alright.
We're gonna do it live anyway.
Uh-oh. It says
No.
it's going. I'm assuming it's working.
So are we live?
I would really assume so, because I just pressed go live hoping that it would work, and yeah.
I'm
So-
seeing live.
Alright, alright.
Okay.
I thought we'd never make it. Welcome. We were experiencing technical difficulties, so we couldn't believe it worked. Anyway, welcome to the August 2022 anime podcast for Outpost 1018. I am your host, Neo Tokyo Tempo. Why don't everyone else introduce yourselves?
I am.
Neko here.
I'm Katsuyu or Josh. Go ahead.
676 or Mike here.
Hey, it's your boy Lou or Striker Red, and Outpost 1018 is turning 5 as of this week. And let's hope it's a good one, actually. We hope we get 5 more years of this. Carol.
And Neko is here.
All
Should
right.
have an order how we introduce ourselves.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you know, I was just thinking that.
I've been away long enough. I thought y'all would have done that by now.
Nope.
It was usually me second, and then we just kind of roll after that and hope that people say something.
All right. Anyway, for this month, we decided to review Spy Family, or Spy X Family. I don't know. It's Hunter x Hunter, but it's DXD. It's probably DD.
You can say Spy Family. It's fine.
Yeah. So if you don't know, if you live under a rock, Spy Family is a show about two countries that are about to be at war with one another. Tensions are very high, and there is a spy, and his job is to prevent these two countries from going to war. In order to do that, he needs to infiltrate a school, and in order to do that, he needs to make an entire needs to make an entire fake family out of a girl he adopted and a random woman that he married. And that's sort of the premise of the show. Let's go into the animation. I personally thought, man, I think the opening theme of this show, like the opening sequence, like I thought it could do more, or like I thought it could like carry over some of that style, because like the opening theme is just like dripping with style. It's got this like real 60s kind of spy movie aesthetic, but like a lot of that style doesn't carry over to the rest of the show. In fact, really not much of it at all. And it's quite unfortunate. It looks like the rest of the show looks like just as an artwork standpoint, looks rather bland in comparison.
Yeah, it feels like the opening definitely sets this brighter tone. Alongside that, it gives the spy theme, and also the color scheme gives this bright pastel thing, and then it just sticks with the standard. Like, there's a lot of beige used in this. Like, the brighter colors are used to slightly accent characters more, but I don't know. I feel like there definitely could be more done with, like, the color schemes and things they use in the opening.
Yeah, definitely. And it really feels like I have like all like my standard gripes that I have with modern anime, like just randomly using CGI when there's no reason to do so. They'll
Oh, they did great with this one on that. Like, it felt used sparingly enough to where it tied it together as opposed to being these weird sore thumb moments.
Oh, there's some weird sore thumb moments. Like I remember specifically, they're like in a park, like staring over a crowd, and like just everyone in that crowd is very, very obviously
pickpocket
3D. Yeah, yeah. And that like really stuck out to me. Like like all this stuff is like making me miss when anime would just like do still shots when they didn't feel like animating something.
Yeah, just play that frame 3 more times.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but otherwise, I don't think like the animation is like any worse than than like what any other show looks like. It's pretty par for the course nowadays.
There wasn't any egregious, like, okay, why would you animate it that way moments to me. Like, I felt a lot, particularly with the character animations, that felt smooth. The characters never felt like they were abnormally moving or in some weird position that would kill you if you tried.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to talk a little bit about that, there were people that were even like reviewing the fight scenes, and like there was a couple groups that like did um Yor's entire fight, like against Lloyd, whenever she was drunk, and they showed exactly how like the body would move and everything, and they nailed this animation perfectly. This is exactly how that fight would play out.
Their
So
combat was the best animation.
yeah,
Like,
so
I was hyped for those scenes.
yeah, so like whoever did the combat stuff, it was extremely realistic. Like they actually did perfect boxing movements. That nothing was actually just like bad animation, fake fighting or whatever. It was just this is actually how someone of that caliber and that level would be able to fight. So that was very interesting, at least that they put
So
that
you're
level of
saying,
detail into that.
unlike normal anime, they actually, didn't actually chipping out on this one.
Yeah.
All right.
That's studio work for you. When it comes to
Wow.
fight scenes, well, they do their job very well. Especially that one punch scene after Anya is after the interview with Anya.
Ooh.
Oh Lord have mercy. Oh, did you notice that in the second episode the fight was actually one single frame? Like Lloyd was straight up fighting all these people, and the frame didn't move at all.
Yeah, that was like they did the fights so well, and they choreographed them actually to like a super high level that I would expect from a normal action movie. That's one of the better parts of this anime, I think, is just like how well all of those fights came out.
Oh god, dude, those punches were fucking visceral, especially that especially the one where Anya slugs Damien in the face.
That was so great. That look and deadpan as she like crushes his face.
No, she grabs. No, there was even some fucking crossovers of this punch, but it was Anya with Saitama from One Punch Man. You got Goku with Anya, and all these comics that were flying around. Oh, character design wise, it's brilliant. Especially it's very elegant. If I do say so myself, and not because my avatar is Henry Henderson, the king of elegance himself. Oh, Speaking of Henry Henderson, that punch, the punch that the man threw at that fucking jackass in the school. Oh,
That
that
was
was
Headmaster Swan, the guy that was
yes,
divorced.
yeah, that man. that motherfucker had it coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely had it
I do really think Lloyd's character design was quite excellent.
Indeed.
He
Yeah.
looks exactly how you would expect his kind of character to look. He's a very unassuming looking person.
Man with
Like
no face.
he's the type of person that would blend into practically any crowd he stands in.
It it also helps that it's part of his job. I mean, we could say we could leave the part about the master of disguise for the character, but
I I think that like what you're saying is like really true. I think that also the time period and what they're wearing helps. Something that like me and my friends were discussing. My one friend actually just cosplayed Lloyd, so like we were talking about this. Um,
Ooh.
he's a bodybuilder, so the suit hid a lot of his muscles. Now he's a lot wider, and he looked kind of like weird in that suit, but just because of how the suit was, you can hide so much more of like what your body looks like. And if he's a spy and you're wearing a suit, he's not going to be as noticed. So I think that that also helps. That the look of the time period really um, pushes that you can have someone extremely fit and still look um, like a normal person.
Yeah, and and it really makes sense for his character. You can tell they thought it out quite well.
Hmm.
Anya wearing the oversized shirt uh around, it's kind of like especially in the early episodes, it kind of helps sell the idea that she's an orphan. She doesn't really she doesn't have any decent clothes when you first see her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Otherwise, all the characters look like how you would expect from the time period. It's it's all quite it's all quite well done. Like everyone looks very believable.
Yeah, for a
Uh,
time
Yeah,
period, it's like
I'm
40s, 30s, something like that.
I'm not
this
too sure about what's her name? Wow, why did I just blank on the wife?
your
Yor.
Your
Yeah. So I'm not too sure about her assassin outfit. I don't know if that's time period appropriate, but everything else is.
You mean the dress?
Yes.
the black
Um,
one
yeah, that's
seems like.
you'll see those you'll see dresses like that in the 30s and 40s.
Okay.
Hmm.
I wasn't
Maybe
too
not the
sure.
top part,
Yeah.
but
Um. Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Yep. So
there's a similar dress in like LA Noir, for example. So it is it's appropriate to show this kind of stuff in 40s.
okay, I wasn't sure about
So
like the neck. That's where the
no,
majority
no,
of that
they
was.
had this dresses where he had like a
Okay.
neck completely open and
All
stuff.
right.
So or the
Yep.
well anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
So for
uh,
2 seconds, let's turn our attention to something, and let's talk about the worst. Uh, I don't know if you guys have the video up or not. The worst animated thing that we saw. I have it up on the screen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
I'd have to actually look at it.
oh
Oh,
yeah. I got confused when I saw this. I'll be
oh,
honest.
oh.
There's a
That's
little wire right here.
that's the Bluetooth
And,
that's the Bluetooth
Handle.
handle.
and these are real things. They
Oh, it is?
like, yeah, some will have thinner metal. I just dropped a picture in
Yeah.
chat. Like, You could
But
buy
in this
these.
case, this is Invincible. When I
Yeah, but
when I saw this, I was like,
The-
what the actual fuck did I just see?
and
you
they will
gotta
have
also remember this is like 40s,
19,
30s, all
19
that stuff.
Yeah.
So they really didn't do this kind of design. That's the only
yeah.
thing that I have
This
against the
is
show.
this is some
Yeah.
modern art
Yeah.
shit versus like I think it would have been a more, iconic tea kettle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like there was a bunch of these little things throughout the show that like I don't think that it's particularly badly animated because you can see like the little wire here. Um, but a lot of the designs have like you see this 40s and 50s style around it, and then you go a little bit further, and then you see like some 80s, some 90s, and like some 70s things just thrown in there, and some things just
Yeah,
don't sit right, and you're looking at it like that doesn't look right. Like what's going
yeah.
on?
There was definitely several times where I felt like I just didn't know when it was taking place. Like like sometimes you'd see like a little piece of technology or something that's like it's like, did they have that back then? Like the color TV is a pretty good example. Um,
Well, they didn't have them in 40s.
yeah, they had them in the 60s.
Yeah.
They actually did have them in the 40s, but you wouldn't want to use one.
Yeah. No. No.
But they had they had them in the 60s, but they were very rare and expensive.
This one has like in pretty much every single apartment that you see in the show. Um, look, it's I actually would defend this like okay, it doesn't really that matter that much because it's like it's still a show where you kind of have elements of like Cold War and this prior to like 30s, 40s Europe or US like a old school style of architecture and all of that stuff. So it doesn't bother me personally as much, but it does for some people who are
Well,
like, oh
it's
no, he's
it's a
gonna bust.
nitpick.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that whenever you're fully immersed, you usually don't notice, but like it's also something that at risk can knock you out of an immersion because
Oh yeah.
small things can just get you out of it. Like, wait, what's going on? Like that happens to me in a lot of movies and a lot of shows randomly where I'll just be watching something and then all of a sudden I just lose complete track of everything because I'm like, wait, that shouldn't be there.
Uh, can I touch? Can I talk about something real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Massive respect for Studio Wit for actually adding in classic Eastern Bloc vehicles like the gas chike limousines and the Wartburg coupes that were in there. Those were built in the 60s actually.
Yep.
So the same would be with the Saxon Ring Trabant in the beginning intro, but that car is the second generation. That car didn't get a restyle until the 1970s. Um, and that's in comparison with the Aston Martin. That's the thing. Most of the cars in there are basically Eastern Bloc, like Soviet era DDR and USSR cars, with the exception of three cars: a Volkswagen van, a Volkswagen Transporter, first gen, which is from West Germany, 1980s, 1980s Ford school bus, which of all things, this were built in the 80s. An American school bus. What was an American school bus doing in what looks like a communist country?
I mean, they stole it, I guess.
I mean, Cuba gets into the used car market, or which is actually an oxymoron considering what they represent. But also the Aston Martin,
Well,
in the ending, that was a reference to James Bond.
Yeah.
fair
Well,
enough.
let's move on to the music and sound design. 676, you're the
I-
music guy.
I can honestly just sit and listen to this soundtrack. Like, just it opens if you sit and listen to the OST, it opens with just that beautiful like 30-40 second drum solo. You're like, okay, I'm in for a jazz. Like, it's got this throwback to old spy films and the cliches, and it has the Benny Goodman big band feel in the drums and percussion. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the way they set their emotion too, they keep that theme running throughout the show. If you listen to the soundtrack, there's this little melody that plays throughout almost every song and keeps
Mhm.
that theme running.
Yeah, the opening theme itself, it kind of reminds me of like a '70s jazz fusion or prog kind of band, especially jazz fusion. Though the drumming in it reminds me of the drummer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's really really cool stuff. Um, and it's something you don't see. Like I don't really see a lot of in anime music. It has like all these like different moving parts. What is this like songwriting and music made past the year 2000? Were they crazy?
It actually,
Um,
there's a lot of this soundtrack that reminded me of the Bakano soundtrack, if you've seen that.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, Bakano, Cowboy Bebop. Um, it's it has all that like really jazzy sound to it, and the drums are just real
Yes.
killer.
Yeah.
That's where the first thing came to mind was like Benny Goodman. If you listen to Sing Sing Sing, it just opens with that tom ride. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Uh, the
So
ending.
yeah, go
Mm,
ahead.
I'll be honest with you. The ending. I don't know what to tell you about it, but it's a bit more chill in comparison, and it's more. I don't think it matches well with the rest of the soundtrack, but it's alright for what it is. It actually sounds like lo-fi hell chill hop in a way.
I think it fits more, not so much in with the overall sound design, but in terms of the mood setting. The opening to the show has this very high paced energy and sets that wholesome tone. You get the story, and then it wraps up like bedtime for Anya at the end.
Hmm We could
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
could talk a bit about the voice acting if since we're in the sound design equipment.
Yeah. Just to touch on this really quick. I was making jokes whenever I was listening to like just the opening theme. And later in like it still kind of like holds true. If you put like that normal big band, it seems like it's so structured and like it that's like all the normal characters throughout the show. It's just like this very structure um thing. But the drummer is losing his fucking mind in the background, so I just pictured Anya in the background just on the drums, just losing her fucking mind the entire time.
Oh, I want a gif of that. I
I,
want a gif of
see,
Anya on the
like
drums.
because like
See that?
even during like not the like drum fills and all of that, like you can just hear in the background like while like the singer's going just da 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 da. I'm like, what the fuck is this drum?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he had to do like 3 lines before he fucking sat down at that set, right? Like
yeah.
it
That
was ridiculous what he was doing. I love that. The overall soundtrack, I listened to the entire thing today. It just one of the best jazz soundtracks. If you wanted to get one of your anime friends in the jazz, just have them sit down, listen to this
yeah
entire
that that
soundtrack.
that
It's
drumming
so
is
good.
yeah that drumming, that like losing its mind drumming. Like I'll link you the exact song I'm thinking of, but that's exact like later. That's exactly why I was mentioning like Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah.
It is it like I haven't like I haven't heard a drummer just lose their mind like that in a long
Yeah,
time.
like I was a huge Buddy Rich fan whenever I was growing up, like, and I was learning how to drum, and like that entire era just reminds me of like how that drummer is. I was like, uh, it's by far one of the best jazz soundtrack. Uh, I think the other thing is like Cowboy Bebop with Tank is like one of the most iconic openings ever, especially with jazz. This reminds me very much of Tank, where it's just like this is always going to be a good soundtrack. Something about
Uh,
jazz just always works.
Wait. Oh, you mean to tell me that there's some influence drawing the seatbelts because that was the band that did Tank?
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah. Like
I
jazz
can
and
see that.
anime kind of work together really well.
Do you
But
get so what at Cloverworks was so what at Cloverworks when they went to Studio Wit to do this was like, do you kids like jazz? Because we got some bangers out here.
yeah.
Someone told the sound engineer, "Hey, can you tone down the jazz?" I can't hear you. I'm making jazz.
All
That
right.
reminds that I think I'll have to say this for another time, but this probably is what it feels like talking to Yu Pang Chen from MiHoYo when he was doing the soundtrack for Honkai and Genshin Impact because there is some jazz in the soundtrack regarding those games,
Yeah.
and they're phenomenal at that. Like these dudes know their shit. Honestly, the soundtrack is pretty fucking phenomenal. I like it.
All right. I think we can move on to just general sound effects and voice acting.
Well, the sound effects are all quite well done. There's several scenes where like uh Lloyd is in danger and he just like hears something, like he hears like a footstep or a creak or something, um and and like that's how you know that's how he knows something's happening. um and there's and there's other stuff like I think I specifically remember the sound of like the pin being pulled out of the grenade. um it had a very it had a very nice like ring to it. um the the TV's well done. It sounds like it's like coming out of TV speakers. um that show that Anya's watching.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the TV show that she's watching, Spy Wars.
It
It has that grainy sound that was that's on classic CRT TVs.
yeah. To loop back around in a way, like even the fight scenes were like they sounded visceral. They sounded really, really good. Um, like it, all the gunshots, like how everything came off, it sounded like there was a good threat the entire time. Even the fake fight, with like the balls being shot, just it sounded. It, they just did a
Every
really good
hit was
job.
meaty.
I
Every
know.
hit had a good meaty punch to it. When Anya decked that kid, there was a good crunch. You're like, is he alive?
Like, goddamn, dude! Oh wait, you know what was the first thing I said when I heard that crunch? Boy, you got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thinking
you
about it
will
too,
have
like even
bad tomorrow.
the dodgeball
Yes.
fight
Oh
just even
god.
sounded
I
great. Like, uh,
that. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, they seem to have put so much work in like even just like the fake fights that it just resonates really well, and you remember these like moments. Like I didn't even think about like the dodgeball scene. I watched it again like halfway through the month. I forgot about like that scene until like we're just talking about sound effect. It
I
there's
I
all
just
those
rewatched it.
really great moments.
Hmm.
So I think that that just shows that at least like I think that like most animes we've talked about, like the audio engineering is either at, like this like it's not noticeable. Sometimes it's noticeable, and then like now we're getting to a point where it's like these engineers know what they're doing. They're doing a great job, and it's awesome. And I think that that really shows that like we can get excited about like how visceral something sounded, and it doesn't sound like it was out of place or overboard.
I
Yeah.
genuinely got excited with the dodgeball scene. That boom, that sound of the dodgeball hitting.
Yeah.
That I played around with engineering a sound like that, and getting that right is so fun. And they nailed it. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of also the sound where Anya starts reading minds, very appropriate. Like you got this whenever she's like trying to read someone's mind,
Hmm.
and you got all these voices, and then to the point that the driver to looks like sensory overload,
Yeah.
like she can't deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, having
Yeah.
like those scenes where like it does become like a sensory overload thing with like all the voices and everything. Like that mixing has to be so precise to make someone else feel that way. Otherwise, it just sounds like gargled noise. So that's props to them. They're doing a fantastic job, and I can't wait for the second season because of that.
Well, it's actually this is actually the first part. The second part is coming out in exactly 1 month from now.
Yeah.
So technically, it's still in the first season.
Okay. Yeah. But
Yeah, I think this is
Yes, we're
technically part one.
separating seasons into parts because it's
because we
not
can't have
confusing enough.
because we can't have 13 episode seasons like we did. How many years?
It's
It's
like
dumb.
I feel sorry for the Attack on Titan fans that are just never gonna get the last episode. It's just, what do you mean? There's 4 parts to the last season.
Oh God!
I don't know why it can't. Oh yeah,
Why
I
is a
don't know.
season
It's
not a season? We break it up into fall, winter, spring, summer. We do that, and then we say it's the fall anime, the spring. It's 13 episodes equal season because that's how this is divided up. If you want to do like a full run and have it cover 2 seasons, like of anime, but just call it one 26 episode season, don't take a break in the middle. It's so stupid.
Well,
it is confusing. It is very
Yeah.
confusing. It doesn't need to be that way. I think the first time I ever saw that was like The Walking Dead did that.
Yeah.
And that's about when I stopped watching.
But to be honest, would you prefer they take the break or do what Bleach did? And it's like, well, let's do another story while waiting.
oh no,
uh,
no, no,
I mean,
please no.
I just prefer to not be confusing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I'd
I
rather
would have
like,
waited another. I could have waited another. Like start it later. How about that? Like start it over.
Oh,
I mean,
Do the
right,
summer
mean,
instead of
if you're
spring.
gonna take like a break for like 2 weeks, just call it
Yeah.
another season.
Yeah. But it
Um,
was. I'm not gonna.
so
Get into
I
it's
thought the
annoying.
seasons were the parts.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going off on a tangent.
now
Let's
we're
Now,
nitpicking.
now we're just angry at not them. We're angry at the studio. And
yeah,
yeah.
let's move on to the characters. So let's first talk about Lloyd. Um, Lloyd, like I said, he can kind of stand in any crowd and be and not stand out. And but he definitely has a lot more going on, like underneath him, or like underneath how plain he is. He has he actually has a, like, despite being like some sort of somewhat like cold and calculating government agent, he also has like a very deep and underlying sense of justice to him that you wouldn't really quite expect at first.
Well, I don't think he wants to acknowledge it. Like, he constantly, you hear him fighting with himself over it's like, no, it's about the mission. And then he's like, oh, this is why I'm doing the mission.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely get that. And he also he also seems to like really deny like how much he cares for Anya and Yor. But he and that's like sort of the conflict within him. Like he doesn't want to be attached to the fake family he's created, but he's getting attached anyway.
Just by virtue of having to do the mission, he's having to like learn about them. He's seeing things that he appreciates and that they're appreciating of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we do have a we do have some backstory on why Lloyd is the way he is, because we're talking about a man who, quote unquote, doesn't want to see another child cry because he himself lost his parents to the war, and as a result, that's a justice comes from that very traumatic event.
I feel like they really kind of missed an opportunity with that. Like they put that like they put that backstory exposition like way too early, like within like the first. It might have been the first episode. It might have been a couple a couple
Yeah, it was for
episodes
the
in.
first.
And animes are doing that a lot. And I think it's kind of dumb because they're like telling you about the character's past before you really get to like them, and it kind of like if a character like has a tragic backstory or something, it's I think it's kind of more effective to sort of make the audience like wonder about it, like like slowly build out who this person is, so that the audience actually wonders where he comes from, and then reveal it at like an opportune moment when there's either like a low point like that he has to pull out of, or like or like in an episode that's like really tense near the end, but not like the last episode, but close to the last episode. It's like if you do that within like the first 10 minutes of the show, it's like, well, thanks. I wasn't wondering about his backstory.
That's where I feel like
Well,
this
they're
set
gonna
feels like it was. Oh, sorry.
they're
Go
gonna
ahead.
portray that, right? Because in the original material, there like the writer goes into that a little bit. So we definitely got to see that in second season. So that's a good thing.
Well, I don't know. I just don't think it's very effective to put it in the first episode. Not usually. And it didn't really feel like that way here either.
Well, with part one, this really feels like they tried to spread like this is their setup. I feel like they did a lot to set things up that we didn't even get to see. Like towards the end, there's that hint at a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they
Oh.
spend a lot of time setting things up in these 12 episodes to then have like a second act that they're going to come for part 2. Which
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
got,
Like we just within 12 episodes we got the mission, we got how he plans on doing the mission. We got the setup of a lot of the background characters that are going to be very important for the rest of the show. Um, and we got like a lay of the land. I think that that's pretty important for at least the first like half of like what they're trying to establish. That first episode, like it, it it had an issue of, yes, like kind of like revealing who Twilight was a little bit too quick. Um, but at the the same time it had like almost like a comedy with it, like where like he was sitting down, it's like we're gonna break up now, and like the girl's just freaking out.
Oh
It's
god, that was that same male
yeah,
moment.
yeah. So he's just like he's like I don't need you anymore, bye, and just walks out of the restaurant. Like it just
Yep.
that entire thing, I think that set up the tone of the anime, where it's like, yes, it's going to be this spy that's going around. He's designed to go out and kill people. He's going to be on these like crazy high level missions. He's very suave. He's very good at what he does. But it's also a comedy. Like,
Speaking of swag, can we talk about the Japanese voice actor being Hachiman from Oregairu's voice actor Takuya Iguchi?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like goddamn, I couldn't see a better role for that guy than Lloyd Forger, because
The
honestly, it fits.
the only thing I remember from Origairu is that scene where they're helping another student council from another school.
That was on season 2, if I
yeah.
recall.
But anyway, let's talk about your.
Also known as alternate reality Yukino, because they share the same voice actress, Saori Hayami, of all people.
All right.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so your is your is a lot less like logical and cold and calculating as than Lloyd, but your is almost like yours dual nature is almost more ingrained in her because it's almost like it's almost like the two sides of her, the side of like a normal person and the side of like an assassin are like completely separated almost. It's almost like they don't bleed into one another at all. Besides in her like deepest and darkest thoughts.
I do I do find it hilarious that despite being like cold calculated, she's also really fucking stupid at times. Like not as an insult. I
Well,
wouldn't say stupid, more like
it
uh
seems like she just has like one of those switches that humans usually have on the back of their head. You know, you flip it and it's just like you become like a doom guy and go and kill demons. And in the end, it's like you flip the switch back and it's like a cat person sitting on the lap. You know,
She
flirting
doesn't
the cat or
need to
something.
know everything. She's an assassin.
Yeah,
She goes in,
yeah,
she kills the person, and she walks out. And that's
yeah.
it. She doesn't need to know how to get into like any like, just do all the formal things and bust it. No, she's showing up, she's killing people, she's getting the fuck out of there. That's her
I
yeah,
was
entire
taught to
thing.
be
yeah.
an assassin. I don't need math. 1 minus 1 means you're dead.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. Drunk Yor happens to be best Yor, in my opinion.
Well,
Well, that's just me because
you're objectively wrong, but it's okay.
oh oh
You're as
oh
good
look
all of the time.
Yes,
exactly yeah.
exactly.
The moment where she's trying to help Anya with her homework, I was in stitches. It's like, well, if you
Oh
cut off
yeah.
these body parts, well, and Anya's just in terror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize to Yor for calling her stupid because I might get my head chopped off by her sooner or later at 3 a.m. But but yeah, uh, yeah. If you apparently the head also counts as a limb, and
uh,
not only that, but also when she trains Anya to be an insane dodgeball player, and she's like really fucking OP at it.
Yeah,
Ye-
I don't think I'm allowed to play with God mode on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like yeah, it seems like your uh like your has like this sort of almost airheadedness about her.
Oh yeah.
And then like but then like whenever like something important happens or like something dangerous, like there's any potential danger around, it's like the moment that danger hits, like suddenly her instincts just activate.
Oh yeah.
And Lloyd has instincts too, but he thinks through things a lot more than Yor does. Yor just kind of seems to float through life.
His is deep seated.
I
Like if you look, the one time he really wanted to snap was during that meeting with the headmasters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
That face
Yeah.
said it
That
all.
was the one time something got to him.
Yeah.
That was
Now,
those two were homicidal. I would be too if someone like that made my daughter cry.
yeah.
And goddamn, I'll be honest with you. I am biased, but I personally think Saori Hayami is like the best voice role for Yor because it's so calm, but at the same time, she behind that smile, she's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah. I think
God
another
damn.
thing, and this is like what a lot of people are saying about the show and just in general, is like how wholesome they are. Like neither of them are parents, like or wanted to be parents really. And then they end up in this position where they're raising this daughter, and they're just both trying their best. You have Lloyd, like he went out, he's like there has to be a guide on this, and then he gets like all of these parenting books and he's like what the hell, and like he passes out like reading them. You have your like trying to learn how to cook and she's terrible at it, but at least she's trying. Like she's doing everything. She feels bad that like everything she does is worse than Lloyd, even though like he's this trained amazing, like he's supposed to blend in every situation, so he learns everything on the fly. He knows exactly how to do everything, and she's just doing her best to keep up. And like you can tell she actually loves Anya, and
Very much.
they just
I
do not. She's just like, I'm doing my best, and
I love the
yeah.
dynamic that Lloyd is so smart, and yet he has seen Yor do things like, "Where'd you learn that?" and just brushes at like, "Yo, she almost killed you, man.
Dude.
You're not gonna ask a little more questions?" And oh, she was drunk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of drunk, what about the time where your not only not only did your fight at Lloyd, but she also fought Yuri in her little brother.
Oh,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
God, the elephant in the
Wow.
room, her brother.
Yeah.
No,
That
Dude,
setup is gonna be
that
great. Like,
that is the why moment.
Let's let's move on to yeah, let's talk about her brother for a little bit.
oh, Yuri.
Shit.
oh my
Man,
god. That is the
that's oh god.
overprotective, overachieving brother. Like you can tell it's like I wanted to date. I think it even said that he wanted to date.
Literally.
He wants to
Yeah, it
marry his
literally
sister.
says, yeah,
He was
yeah,
like
that was
4.
literally in it. Yeah, and he's like, I'm committed to this, and you're like, okay, all
You're
right,
30 now, dude.
all right, weird
He's
incest
he's
flex,
20
but okay.
actually. He's actually 20.
I
I mean,
I feel
if
like
you're
there's
20 and
definitely
carrying that.
I feel like there's definitely more background behind this because like they were saying it's like, oh, like at your age, like someone should have like dated you, like to your and all of that. And like she's like, well, what is my brother gonna say? It's like, oh, like there's definitely some background. Like he's definitely killed a few of her like potential suitors before. Like you know
Well,
that would. There's no way that he didn't.
Oh
There is
God.
absolutely no way that he didn't.
well,
that If that's the setup, that's gonna be some bombshells
It's
coming
gonna
up.
be.
Ooh.
I think that has to be like it has to be
That
something
would,
like that.
if it is, like I'll give him props. Like I appreciate like having it. Keep a little bit of darkness in it if you're gonna have that kind of character. I don't know. Like I don't like his character setup, so at least if you're gonna do that, go all the
Yeah,
way, man. Make him
it
fucked up.
has to be something crazy.
Well,
Because
I could imagine the kid would be a little fucked up. His sister would come home every day smiling and covered in blood.
I
Well,
forgot. Yeah,
unless you're
that moment.
watching.
She's like, "Hey, guess what?" He's like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" She's like, "I got food."
Well,
I got
she's
your
not.
food, bro.
Well, she just no. The first thing she says is, "It's okay. It's not my blood."
Where
And
were
then,
you? Donating.
what the
Donating.
fuck? Oh, sorry if I had to do this, but I was going to mention this regarding your, but I didn't get the chance to. Do you guys see the parts in the museum where she's like really fucking at it with the guillotine? Like she's in love with
Yeah,
that
where
thing.
they're at the
Oh
art.
yeah.
Yeah, and she's every blade. She's just having a moment with that blade. Are you okay? She said, "What? What?"
I love the part where Anya goes, "Daddy, Daddy, you can see her boobies."
That was one of the best parts of that fucking episode. Hey, his head's chopped. This buddy has no head. His head's chopped off. Oh man, Yuri. Interesting fact about Yuri. I noticed that the secret police is actually like the Stasi in East Germany.
Well,
I can
yeah,
see
that's
the resemblance.
Yeah,
Hearing Kensho Ono freak the fuck out as Yuri is landing. Actually,
yeah. Let's move on to Anya.
boy.
yes. Oh
Here we go.
God, how many?
You know, I've got
I mean-
several nieces and nephews, and I got a godson, and their portrayal of a 5-year-old and the flightiness is on point.
Especially the way she mispronounces words because she uses what is it called and I read this, she uses hiragana instead of kanji when it comes to her writing. Apparently that's how should I say this? Oh, yeah, as that the way she talks is actually like the equivalent of a little kid mispronouncing words like discombobulator and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did notice, like, I don't speak Japanese, but I did notice there seemed to be something a bit mushmouth about the way she talks.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that is legit. The way she talks, she's a kid, so
I
And
think there's a great like video on YouTube explaining like how she talks, and it's like, yeah, that's how children talk.
Yeah.
It's
And
yeah.
just to show like the level too. So we've talked about this in past with the English, where they're doing this thing of trying to find new people and putting one old experienced person, right? So Lloyd and Yor are the newcomers to the anime voiceover space. Like they might have been working 2-3 years, mostly doing minor characters.
uh, you mean the English
Anya,
though?
yeah, Anya is super experienced. Like the voice actor for her is Megan Shipman, and she's been going since like 2014. She's done huge voices for a lot of big name shows. She did
Uh,
Gray and Black Cleaver. She did just a bunch of other like shows. So she's the experienced one. So that shows like
that's
the
quite a
voice.
contrast regarding. That's quite a contrast to Atsumi Tanesaki,
Yeah,
who her biggest role so far is Sajuna Inui from My Dress Up Darling.
yeah.
That was a
But
eh,
what I was just trying to say though was for Anya, they made sure that the best voice actor for like they're getting the one experienced one, that's the experienced one is her. The other two are still new. So I thought that was a very interesting thing that they would emphasize making sure that they get a good one that was able to do the kid voice, rather than over like Lloyd or for Yor.
That's
I
that's quite the contrast in comparison to the Japanese voice actors, Takuya Guchi and Saori Hayami, who are veterans at this,
Hmm.
and then this is the complete opposite,
Hmm.
really.
Yeah, it
Uh,
is. I mean,
I
I
do
mean,
think it's a
Anya.
good idea.
who
Yeah.
cares? But okay.
Like,
It matters for the English dub. I was gonna say, like I'm looking through the person from Japan. She had some pretty decent roles.
Fun
So
well,
fact
in terms
regarding
of
Anya.
Did you really watch that show in the English? Seriously?
I watched it in both.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Fun fact. Anya is there's a couple of things. Her test subject number 007 is actually a reference to James Bond,
Yeah.
Yep.
and and then there's the how do I say this? The fact that she was actually adapted from another Tatsuya Endo comic called. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, originally, according to the wiki, our Anya was initially planned to be older and taller, as in an initial sketch of the family. Her expression also appears to be much more serious.
All
Anya's
right.
design was adapted from Ash, a character from Tatsuya Endo's previous one-shot Rengoku no Ash.
All right. We have to. We're running. We're gonna run overtime, so
Yeah.
we gotta move on to the plot.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay.
So
See that plot.
yeah. So the
Jiggle it.
plot of well, I guess yours got some plot, but anyway. So the fact that, or what was I gonna say? So the plot of this show, um, I hold on, I gotta clear my throat. So the plot of this show, um, it's kind of it's kind of based on a it's one of those shows that's is sort of based on like like a writer coming up with like a really clever premise and sort of building it out from there, and like sort of exploring like what kind of things uh would characters that are like in this sort of situation would have to deal with and would have to do, and and it's always like it's something that's very popular to do in anime, and it's generally a pretty good idea because it gives you a lot of unique and interesting things that you can sort of do as a writer, and I think they did it rather well. The uh, like the situations that they get into being a fake family constructed entirely uh, for an espionage plot. Um, I think like the types of things that they have to deal with are quite believable, and I think it does and I think it does quite well with that. I quite like the plot.
Yeah, the plot being informational warfare more than actual warfare, because well, these two countries are basically they could go at war in any second, and it has to this family could hold the balance, the key, in fact,
Yeah,
to well peace, according to the plot.
Hmm.
I like I like things happening like Anya like and like not understanding the gravity of what she's doing for example, like breaking into Daddy's secret spy room and using Daddy's secret or opening Daddy's secret spy box and turning Daddy's secret spy knobs on the radio, and then and then just uh, and then just broadcasting unencrypted. uh, you know that's something you would expect a child to just do in that kind of situation.
It's,
Um,
it's
and
true.
uh, and it and it leads to and it leads to a pretty good episode as well. I thought it was quite good.
Yeah. Uh,
I,
I'm the only thing that I'm kind of confused about, because I know that it's supposed to be, it's a spy thing and he's going around. I don't know who's on what side, if that makes sense. So like the only issue that I have with the plot is I know that Lloyd is a spy and he's trying to kill off these political leaders. Who is he a spy for, and what are these political leaders actually trying to do? Like, what is the corruption? What is this guy going to do if he doesn't kill him within a certain amount of time?
I mean, I don't
It,
think show actually
I it
gives a
does
damn
kind of.
about this kind of stuff because
yeah,
it's more about like he's just like a super spy
yeah,
and she's just a super assassin and the kid is the
yeah,
well
Well, I
uh,
An
think that's
expert.
actually part of a
psychonaut
setup for
essentially.
later,
yeah,
But
because if you
I
look,
don't think it
your
matters even for a plot. It's because this is just a setup. Like it doesn't matter what they do with that thing, in my opinion, because like it's about like family and how you like find your family in the first
yes.
place.
I
Uh,
So
think
because it doesn't want to bog down you in like details by like this is a general that launches a nukes and this is a general that farts and what like whatever. It's like it's just lighthearted ish comedy with a little bit of action going on there. That's pretty much it. And the rest of the setup, like for every single episode, even is just to make fun of some aspect of the like a spy shows and stuff. Because like it's rather unique in this case because it doesn't it doesn't force you into this you know hard heavy political drama or thriller or whatever. It's just like, oh, they're family, but they have each their own deep secrets that they cannot, just tell people because it's kind of actually hard to talk to your family sometimes. Yay, all that kind of stuff.
I think though with Lloyd is a spy from the West,
yes,
and Yor I think is functioning as an assassin for the East. So I think that's actually being built as like a conflicting setup later.
yeah. That's more of what I was trying to like. It's like I was wondering, because they're both being paid by the opposite sides, which one is in the wrong, if that makes sense, or
Or
which one's going
who's
to be
going
set up
to
to be on the evil side.
I,
So
I don't think she's actually paid by the East because like she's just
well,
as
Well,
the
in the first
contract assassin.
episode she goes in and says, "I heard there was a traitor here."
Well, yeah, but that's more to like she's getting paid to, find that raider or whatever.
Well, and I
That's
guess that's more or less I'm drawing from like what I think they're hinting at is that she's
oh,
being
okay, fair enough.
contracted by the East
Yeah, yeah,
to
but
perform
doesn't
these.
like work as the because her brother works for the
it's-
Stasi like people.
Oh, that could be a shit setup. Her brother's the one contracting her.
Well, that's actually no, I don't think so. At least it's not in original material, but whatever. They can write whatever the hell they want at this point. Um, but yeah, it's more about like dynamic within between all these three characters. That's more about that specific setup as opposed to like a big picture of like this is a Cold War and this is spy games and whatever. So
uh,
That's more the
we,
set piece than the story.
yeah, 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 yeah.
and then
So the
there's the
story
fact
itself is
that
just about the family itself. So
Anya's this series straight up subverts the fact that if you're an expert, you're automatically like super fucking intelligent. But but it's really the opposite here because, well, let's be honest here. Anya doesn't have the best grades. She doesn't have the best athletic aptitude. Even though in the dodgeball episode she trained like crazy.
The dodgeball episode actually shows where she's relying too much on her telepathy. She used it to dodge everything,
Hmm.
but she didn't take anything from her training and flubbed the shot. I think that episode is that critical moment where she blames her mom instead of like, well, hold on, maybe I didn't take or train hard enough or whatever. She used her telepathy to get the shortcuts instead of the training. And
Does it
then
have
when the shot came, she lost the training.
the same happened when she was trying to take the entry exam? Barely passed with flying colors.
Yeah. I mean, throughout the show, she's kind of her telepathy is actually kind of failing her because she barely passes the exam. It's not helping her with her grades really much at all. Um, it doesn't it doesn't help her very much with the dodgeball. It and it constantly causes like
Confusion.
sensory overload when she's in crowds. It really seems like the telepathy um is more often than not a curse for her, and her trying to rely on it only makes it worse. It doesn't actually make her good at anything.
That's a really interesting point because the times
Uh,
where she excels with it is when she's with her parents
Yeah.
and they're fostering it.
It's I think that there's 2 points to this, which is the first was she was sent in the foster homes. She was sent back numerous times.
four
Um,
to be specific.
yeah, and then also you would imagine that the people that like did the studies, like the scientists, would have like been trying to keep a better eye on her, trying to train her better, that they saw there's some kind of failing within it. So either like they didn't succeed or they found someone better, uh, which is concerning. Um, but it's also if it was that much of a hindrance that the science community just gave up on it, even though it worked, that's where it would show that it's going to be a hindrance the entire time. Like they kind of hinted to that already.
Yeah,
Uh,
I see her character development as sort of going from her like not being able to use it to her advantage because she's not good at anything else, so it doesn't actually help her her to her like not relying on it and being actually getting good at things to her then like learning to incorporate that into being good at things.
That, like her learning from these two unexpected, unlikely parents, and they don't know she's a telepath, but they actually are the best ones to teach her how to use this.
You would think Lloyd would
ability.
figure it out at some point.
The fact where she almost
No.
said he was a fucking spy.
Yeah, like the fact that like she'll like seemingly just react to his thoughts, and you'd think if that happened once or twice, that you wouldn't think much of it, but if it happened like literally all the time, and it does, you'd start to go, there's something up with this kid.
I mean, I feel like Lloyd, for as competent of a spy as he is, he's oblivious. Like, Anya and Yor have both shown him so many signs. And he's just like, never mind.
Well, I mean, it can be because like he's too much focused on the mission as opposed to
Yeah, true.
to notice the
I
details.
just love, like, Yor trying to kill
Also-
him, Anya almost outing him, and he's like, wait, what?
Well,
oh,
it's more like he's too much confident in the fact that he has a like perfect family basically
I made my
as a
cover.
condition, so he's just not focused on the small details of like a small little hints here and there.
You know,
As long as I have family in house, I'm good.
Yeah, pretty much.
you know. Speaking of
Because remember,
Anya,
at the
go
very
ahead.
sorry, I gotta cut you off. Sorry. At the very beginning, they like he said like I have never done such a mission, like this type of mission. So it's like, oh man, it's gonna be real tough.
Mhm.
So
I stopped a missile from launching.
That
I
was one of the
joined the
most
worst
ridiculous
terrorist,
things. Yeah.
but I cannot deal with a family. Oh, speaking of Anya, that telepathy did in fact help her out a couple of times, especially the part when she saves the Ken, the little kid who's
Oh, the drowning
in
kid.
rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the guy who mugs an old woman. Um, yeah, that benefited because Anya was reading the guy's thoughts, and then you know, she was a boon to Lloyd and Yor when
I
it came to justice.
That's what I was kind of getting at earlier. Is I think that's, at least in my head, that's what would be the best way. Is she has this telepathy that functions as a hindrance to her,
Hmm.
and these two unlikely parents are going to be the ones that foster that, and she learns how to use it, even if they don't know she has it.
Yep.
All right, let's do our wrap ups and scoring.
All right.
boy,
Okay. So there are. Okay. So first off, well, let me explain how I got into this anime. Because I was gonna end up watching it because everyone else was saying to, but my girlfriend and her friend were over, and basically my girlfriend was watching it, just was like, hey, there's this really cute anime, you should watch it. And we're both like, nah, like it's fine, whatever. And then like we both sit down, we just start watching it. We're like, whoa, this is actually really good. Wait, what the hell is going on? And then like I had to start from the beginning. It it's very catchy. It very much draws you in. It's something that's very easy to binge. It's something that's fun. It's something that I think most people can enjoy. It has an aspect that I think almost every part of the community can enjoy whenever it comes to just a general anime. I think that that's why it's so successful. Um, because my taste is very different than my fiance's. Her friend had a very different taste. She usually doesn't like watching anime. So I think that there's just something about the show that is so good for everyone that all my friends are watching it. I'm enjoying it. My fiance is enjoying it. It's such a universally good show that I think that alone can speak volumes. That there's that many different demographics watching it. That said, the soundtrack is amazing. The animation, we're stuck in this 2010, 2020, like where we are right now with animation. It doesn't seem like it's going to get better or worse a lot of the time unless someone comes out with something crazy. The fighting choreography is really good, but for the general amount of the shows, it's all going to be the same, and that's kind of annoying. I want something to jump out, but it is what it is. There were a few things that kind of like off put me a little bit, where it would just kind of like desync me, like the different cars that didn't like line up, where you're like that doesn't seem like it should fit here. Just different art style choices for the time period, but overall, I think it was all good. And then the story is really good. It's showing three different characters. It's jumping between them well. It's pacing well. It's setting up for an overarching theme, but you care about each character. You care about how Lloyd's feeling. You care about how uh, Yor is acting. You care about Anya's growth. You want to see all three of them succeed, and you're wondering where things are going to go awry. You wonder where things are going to clash. It's so well put together with the plot and the characters that there isn't very much fault that I can even find outside of these like small little like like nitpicky things that shouldn't really like I shouldn't really even worry about too much half the time. Um, so I'm gonna give it a 9.5 just because of that it's just so good overall that even whenever like there is a down point, everything else makes up for it.
All right, 676.
I first of all, like, I never had a down moment in music. There was always a nice groove going on with it. The story, like, I'm not gonna lie, there were goofy moments that are a little hard for me. It's like, okay, it reminds me of like The Office and Steve Carell being a little too embarrassing, but still the writing's good. The animation is so smooth. Like the fight scenes had me. I want another. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's keep going. Um, the story, like I said, we've got 12 episodes. I'm ready to see how this builds up. It feels like all set up, and so I'm at where I'm sitting. I give it a solid 8, just because I don't have enough to say. It felt like they didn't give me enough to give it a full 8 or like 9 or 10. Coupled with there's just little things like her brother really took a lot of like yours brother took a lot out of it. I felt like there was some just you didn't need to write it that way. And so, yeah, solid 8 for me.
All right, Neko.
Uh, well, I mean, I mostly with stuff there, animations. You gotta remember, this is Studio Wit and Cloverworks, and Cloverworks cannot make 3D animation, period, because they suck at that. But this one had a really good budget. Really good budget. So it looks amazing. It sounds really great. Great story writing. Great character writing. Opening, ending, everything just elegant and perfect, as someone would say. Uh, However, it is a half season, 13 episode usually, 24 season is the normal one. I cannot give it 9. There are a lot of things as one, like a first part of the series. There are a lot of stuff that just are not resolved. It just abruptly ends at the middle point. And sorry, but it's 8 for me, I guess.
Striker.
Whew. All right. Uh, all right. You want to know what actually got me into this anime? Besides a couple of friends of mine, it was the memes. And goddamn, there was some glorious fucking memes of the show that were there was something else. From the ones with Vin Diesel, the ones with the crossover from other franchises. Like for example, someone made a comic with Anya and Saitama for One Punch Man. The other one was Goku for Dragon Ball Z. The one was I think it was Monkey D. Luffy. I don't remember the third one. But
Kaguya-sama.
oh, the one with Kaguya's about Loveless
Yep.
War. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, and so on and so on. And I'll be honest with you. Usually when something gets memed to oblivion, it ends up being either disappointing or it outlives its purpose. But Spy Family, honestly, it was that one show I've been looking forward to watch every week for the last couple of months, is May and June. I was actually juggling that one besides Ya Boy Coming, which is also a good show in my opinion. Especially the music is fucking banging. In the case of Spy Family and regarding the voice acting and the music, it's phenomenal. It's absolutely fucking phenomenal. The voice actors are phenomenal. Uh, some more than others, especially Kensho Ono and Saori Hayami. Uh, and Atsumi Tanizaki, of course. I mean, that's I'm being biased because I've been watching the Japanese. I watched the Japanese version myself. And also the character design, especially Anya. Every time I look at her, I just fucking smile because she has so much saccharine. It's crazy. She basically carried the show. In all honesty, uh, yes, a half season is not really doing it for me, Chief. But let's see. I am. I'm not gonna say I'm white a black pilled, but concerning Cloverworks and some of their series, especially Return to Promised Neverland, the second
God.
season was absolute garbage. Uh, I really hope that Studio Wick and Cloverworks don't fuck this one up. Like I said, like in my Just a Darling review, Cloverworks, please don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up so much. Holy shit. Dude, you guys can do better. But honestly, this show, for what it's worth, it's it's a true it's gold. It's gold, honestly. But giving it a 9.5 is overkill in my opinion. It looks like you're paid by the by Cloverworks. I don't trust those motherfuckers. But
Wait,
but
when we're trash.
Mike, let me tell you something. I will be terrible, yes. 8.5. I'm not giving the show a 9 because I see potential in this anime and the manga as well. Fun fact though, this show was apparently a result of an art block that Tatsuya Endo had. And originally it was going to be a throwaway. Lo and behold, it ended up being a massive success. And another fun fact, I was going to say this to Anya, but her character Ash from the other manga I mentioned from the guy actually resembles Anya in the sense right down to the horns on the side of her head or the antenna, if you will. So what is my score to this show? 8.5. 8.5 actually. This show is I see nothing but promise from this one. It's a banger.
Yeah. All right. So the way I mean the way I heard about Spy Family is memes. I don't really watch a show cuz I see memes about it or I hear people talking about it. Um I just kind of watch a show if I think it like looks interesting. Or if we do or if we're doing a podcast on it.
If it is
Um
assigned, we must watch.
yeah. Um but so I watched it just, for the podcast. The animation I thought was I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was just about as good as the animation in any other show that comes out nowadays. Soundtrack was great. The characters, I liked the characters. The plot was pretty decent. There isn't anything about this show that like I thought was like really amazing, but it's all it's all the pieces are all there. We haven't quite seen them come together yet, and hopefully they will come together nicely. But yeah, I liked it. I'm gonna give it an 8. What's the score, Chief?
8.6 out of 10 by IMDb and 8.8 by Anime List.
And what's our average?
Did I miss a number? Okay, it was 9.5, 8.5, 8, 8.
What was your score, Will?
Mine was 8.
Yeah.
Mine was 8.5.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'm counting for. Okay, whatever. It comes up 8.5.
You're counting 4. Did you get Neko
Yeah.
or Kirill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 8 as well.
Oh, okay. Oh,
There
yeah,
we
that's right.
Okay.
Uh,
So
my permission to ask something real quick, gentlemen.
Yep.
Was this show worth the hype?
I
Be
Oh
don't
honest.
know.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yep.
Oh yeah.
8.4 is what we got.
All right.
It really
Well,
was.
about there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if it was worth the hype. I mean, people were talking about it like it was like it was the people do this every season. They talk about one show like it's the best show ever made, and then you never hear about it again.
Oh, heard about it. I'm not letting you live that one down, man.
Uh,
I heard about it.
I will say this is the most cosplayed show right now. The
Oh
amount
yeah.
of Lloyds and Anya's and yours I saw running around the anime convention, and many of the outfits are not done yet because it was an anime convention while the show was on episode 6. So things were very badly put together, but the amount of them was kind of intense. It very much reminded me of Rem uh, with ReZero, or not ReZero.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
ReZero.
yep,
It is.
Rayman
Yeah.
Ram.
yeah. And like Kirito running around whenever Sao is at its peak. It's very much in that same category, at least
Oh.
whenever it comes to the cosplay community at the moment.
Well,
So
it
Yeah.
doesn't sound that
that
bad.
that has to amount to something.
yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I haven't heard anyone mention my dress up darling in like a month. So,
That's fair. I also didn't see many people cosplaying from that show. So
yeah.
No, it's still going.
oh,
You
it's
know.
going. But like I saw, just a general thing at conventions. There's a lot of people that will do things, right? Uh, there's either the group where it's a waifu and everyone just buys the stuff, but if the cosplay community catches it, it usually holds a little longer.
Oh yeah.
There wasn't many cosplays. There was a lot more merchandise. So
They usually move on to the next best thing. Like for example, Licorice. What's the name of that show?
Oh god.
Licorice.
Licorice Recoil. What a
Yeah,
trash. I
Licorice
said it, people.
Recoil,
It's trash.
or Vermilion Gold,
yeah,
or that one anime with the vampire.
yeah,
Vermilion in the Panic or something.
yeah.
Vermilion Gold was the one with the succubus. The one I'm talking about has a how do I say this? A vampire girl who sucks.
Oh, call me at night or something.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. Basically,
The
there will
Call of the
always
Night,
be
there we
more
go.
waifus. There will, war is eternal.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Well, let's
Yep. All right, let's end this.
yeah, what's eternal is not the night. So let's